haven't been close to the princess before.
The princess director swore this scene was cut, but we found it. What does it reveal about the ending? You won't believe your eyes. The film opens with a dramatic scene. A princess wakes up and finds herself locked inside a room in a grand palace. Realizing she's being held hostage, she recalls fainting earlier after inhaling a strange scent. Soon after, two guards enter her room. Pretending to be asleep, she waits until one of them approaches. Suddenly, she springs into action and fights back, displaying impressive combat skills. She overpowers and locks the guards, then escapes the room. As she moves through the palace, she discovers from a window that Prince Julius, a royal from another city, has imprisoned her family, her parents, the king and queen, and her younger sister. A flashback reveals that Julius was once set to marry the princess, but she refused the match after learning he was not a good man. She fled on the day of the wedding, enraging Julius, who now seeks revenge. He plans to marry her by force to claim the throne, since she has no brothers. Back in the present, a masked guard enters her room. To evade him, the princess hides in a bathtub, holding her breath underwater. When he leaves, thinking the room is empty, she tries to escape, but he spots her and captures her. A fierce battle ensues, and the princess kills him. In another flashback, we learn that her father always wanted a son and frowned upon his daughter's interest in combat. Despite this, the princess had a teacher who secretly trained her in swordplay and self-defense. While recalling this, the princess continues her escape. She fights and defeats two more guards, then sneaks back to retrieve her sword hidden under the bed. She remembers how proud her teacher was to give it to her. Meanwhile, a lazy but bulky guard is sent to find her, but gives up easily. As he leaves, the princess narrowly avoids being discovered by hanging outside a window. Later, she overhears a conversation through a wall and sees Julius with Moira, his friend and confidant. Realizing they're romantically involved, she attempts to attack them, but Julius is summoned by the king. The princess continues her journey through a hidden passage, but is confronted by a heavily armored guard. They engage in a brutal fight, and she eventually defeats him by burning him and throwing his body out the window, where Julius sees it. Infuriated by the failure of his guards, Julius orders a complete palace search. Moira suspects that someone familiar with the palace is helping the princess. When the others mock her, she lashes out in anger, killing the senior guard with her deadly bladed chain. She commands the guards to intensify the search. The princess witnesses all of this and tries to flee, but is surrounded again. She fights fiercely, injuring many but sustaining serious wounds herself. In a clever move, she scatters pearls from her broken necklace on the stairs, causing the pursuing guards to slip and fall. She uses the opportunity to escape and later defeats another guard with the help of a falling curtain, then lowers herself using a cloth tied from a window. Injured, she hides in a room and bandages herself. A flashback shows a heated argument with her father, the king, who wanted her to marry Julius to secure his kingdom. He dismissed her desire to become a warrior, calling her selfish. Back in the present, her teacher suddenly appears. Overjoyed but wounded, the princess collapses, and her teacher tends to her injuries. The princess asks her teacher what happened, as her memory is hazy. The teacher explains that Julius launched a surprise attack with his soldiers, catching everyone off guard. Many were slaughtered. The princess feels responsible, but the teacher urges her to be brave and act now to save others. She reveals a secret escape route through the water system. They sneak through the palace kitchen, where they witness guards abusing innocent civilians. Together, they ambush the guards and direct the victims to safety. One final guard attacks, but Moira appears and kills him with her chain. Then, Moira attacks the princess and begins to strangle her. The teacher fights Moira and rescues the princess just in time. She traps Moira with fire, giving the princess a chance to escape. Though the teacher offers to stay behind and face Moira, the princess initially refuses to leave her. But the teacher insists, for the sake of her family, the princess must survive, The princess escapes through the waterway and reaches the jail where her family is held. She sees several guards there, some drinking and others gambling. Seizing the moment, she attacks and kills them, freeing her family. Her father watches in awe as she defeats their captors. However, before they can escape, more guards arrive and overpower them. The princess wakes up to find herself and her family tied up before Julius. Moira drags in her teacher, also captured. Defiantly, the princess tells Julius that she thinks about killing him every day and dreams of holding his heart in her hands. Enraged, Julius declares he will now marry the younger sister instead to become king. He orders the guards to kill the princess. The princess signals to her teacher, who sneaks the younger sister out through a back door while the princess distracts everyone by fighting. As the guards toss her from a window, she lands in a river and loses consciousness. Upon waking, she remembers her mission and uses a shard of glass to cut her ropes. She resurfaces and heads to stop the wedding. Meanwhile, Julius prepares to marry his younger sister in front of a crowd at the church. The princess's sister is hiding beneath a statue. When a guard approaches, she knocks him out. Reunited with her teacher, the princess brings her sister to an armory. They gear up for battle while the sister stays behind. The princess and her teacher launch an attack, fighting numerous guards. Julius is shocked to hear the princess is still alive. He sends more soldiers. The younger sister sneaks into the church and frees an ally of the teacher. Julius captures her and forces her toward the altar. The princess fights her way to the church, where she's confronted by Moira again. They engage in a fierce battle. The princess eventually defeats her by wrapping Moira in her chain and hanging her. She then rushes inside and finds Julius attacking her teacher. Devastated by the sight, she weeps, thinking her teacher is dead. One of the teacher's allies takes her away. Now, only the princess and Julius remain. Despite her injuries, the princess prepares to fight. Julius targets her wounds, weakening her further. As he stands before the crowd with his sword at her neck, declaring himself king, the princess remembers her teacher's advice. Stay calm and focus. At the right moment, she snatches Julius's sword and beheads him. His crown falls with his head. The princess picks it up and places it before her father. The king, moved and proud, declares that from now on, his daughter will be the ruler. The crowd erupts in joy. In the final scene, the princess finds her teacher alive and hugs her tightly. Even the humorous, bulky guard returns, saying he'd searched for her everywhere. Everyone laughs, and the film ends on a joyful and victorious note. The cutscene shows Princess embracing her role as a protector, indicating a shift from a reactive fighter to a proactive leader. This suggests she is not content with simply defending her castle, but will actively seek out threats to her kingdom. Still confused about the ending? Don't worry, even the actors were. Let's argue about it below, and hit subscribe for more chaos. Enjoy more movies, be subscribed.